Thank you so much. Yes, Ayesha.
I'll be starting with the Kirat. It is live. Can you see it?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful.
اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق.
Recite in the name of your Lord who created.
خلق الإنسان من علق.
Created man from a clinging substance.
اقرأ وربك الأكرم.
Recite, and your Lord is the most generous.
الذي علم بالقلم.
Who taught by the pen.
علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم.
Taught man that which he knew not.
كلا إن الإنسان ليطغى.
No, but indeed man transgresses.
أن رآه استغنى.
Because he sees himself self-sufficient.
إن إلى ربك الرجعى.
Indeed, to your Lord is the return.
أرأيت الذي ينهى.
Have you seen the one who forbids?
عبدا إذا صلى.
A servant when he prays.
أرأيت إن كان على الهدى.
Have you seen if he is upon guidance?
أو أمر بالتقوى.
Or enjoins righteousness?
أرأيت إن كذب وتولى.
Have you seen if he denies and turns away?
ألم يعلم بأن الله يرى.
Does he not know that Allah sees?
كلا لئن لم ينته لنسفعا بالناصية.
No. If he does not desist, we will surely drag him by the forelock.
ناصية كاذبة خاطئة.
A lying, sinning forelock.
فليدع ناديه.
Then let him call his associates.
سندع الزبانية.
We will call the angels of hell.
كلا لا تطعه واسجد واقترب.
No, do not obey him, but prostrate and draw near to Allah.
Okay, we are starting with the ceremony. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful. Assalamu alaikum and hello to everyone. My name is Ayesha and I'm the moderator for this session. Good afternoon and thank you to each and everyone who could join us here today. We are pleased to welcome SZABIST teachers, SZABIST maestros, and our respected program managers. I would like to extend my welcome to the officials, SMUC's official speakers, Mr. Yahya Ghaznavi and Ms. Naheed Chowdhry. Moving on, a huge amount of appreciation to Ms. Ayesha Latif. Without her, we would not be here today. Thank you so much for all your efforts. First of all, I would like to congratulate Ms. Ayesha for completing your 10 years here at SZABIST. And thank you so much for 3 wonderful months of learning and multiple opportunities. Thank you for being our mentor and treating us like your own kids. This journey was unforgettable. And of course, when we look back 5 years from now, we have cherished so many memories we won't be able to forget. Here we are at the 6th annual SZABIST Marketing University Challenge. This is the first time it's been virtual. SMUC is part of SZABIST's legacy. And of course, it is a flagship event. SZABIST Marketing University Challenge. This year, the motto is Mapping New Dimensions of Marketing. Over to you now, Ms. Ayesha.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ayesha Wahab, and thank you so much, Ms. Naheed Chowdhry, for joining us. I'm sure Mr. Yahya will soon be joining us shortly. This has been Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to our honorable guests as well as to the students of BBA program, BBA 6th semester. This particular event is a flagship event, like Ayesha said. It's in its 6th round, 6th series, like you say. And this time round, I would like to, even though the format of the event keeps changing and evolving, but one objective remains the same, is to give our students the opportunity to get exposure to the industry dynamics out there, to learn from the experienced professionals, and then to come back and to the drawing board and use their problem solving and analytical skills and their creativity to really come up with unique ideas for existing brands or to craft new brands from scratch. But before all that, it's always a tradition that we want our teams to get motivated, to get that knowledge boost, that motivational boost from the best of the best in the industry. And alhamdulillah, this time too, we have amazing guest speakers who are here, especially from a long way. We have Ms. Naheed Chowdhry joining us from UAE, and we'll have Mr. Yahya Ghaznavi from Karachi, and they are both, mashallah, CEOs of their own respective companies. Profiles will be shared with you soon, and they will be able to help you get that motivation, that boost to go into the competition full force. There are 19 teams. All the best to all the teams. We have cash prizes, we have trophies, certificates, and we would also we are really once again very grateful to Ms. Naheed Chowdhry and Mr. Yahya Ghaznavi for coming on board with us on this event. And thank you to SZABIST for all kinds of facilitation and support for having such events and helping on the back end. Every single department has been great. Thank you, Ayesha. Over to you, Ayesha.
Thank you so much, Miss. I will be, of course, we'll be starting with the speaker session now. Ms. Naheed Chowdhry, I will be telling the audience a little about you. So here, okay. So Ms. Naheed Chowdhry is based in UAE. She is a global brand, a digital marketing, a strategy expert. Her corporate experience spans more than 20 years. She began with Unilever in Pakistan, where she founded Lux Style Awards in 2002 and co-founded the first daycare before jetting off to Unilever Australia. Later, she joined Mondelez as the regional marketing manager for Dubai, and for 2 years switched to Bell, where she left as a marketing director. For the next 5 years, she worked as a marketing executive for companies such as the Hershey Company and the Al Fakhr. Ms. Naheed Chowdhry holds an MBA from IB and an executive certificate program from Cornell University. She has served as a mentor with various reputed forums. She is an elder certified coach, a best-selling author, an advisor on workplace gender bias, and a mother to 3 teenagers and a preteen. So Ms. Naheed Chowdhry, you have 25 minutes. Please start with your session.
Can you hear me? Okay, brilliant. Okay, thank you very much. Well, so since I'm now down to about 20 minutes, I'll make this quick. So I'm really honored to be here. This is probably the point that everyone in the audience. I can't see you, but I can imagine because I've been there when we have people and speakers coming to talk to us, and then we roll our eyes heavenwards and we think, oh, here we go with the technical glitches. So hopefully no more. मैं जो अगले 20 मिनट में जहाँ पे मेरा फोकस रहेगा वो रहेगा on just sharing a brief overview of my journey with you. Less to show off about it and more to show it as a potential that you can achieve. And then I'll also share with me the lessons that I've learned since I'm about 100 years older than you are. And that gives me a bit of right to talk about key things for success. So if Miss Ayesha Shaikh, would you be, if you are sharing the, please could you, yes, please if you could share it. And then I would just ask if you can just play the video. Thank you. You could move to slide 2. Hello, yes. Can you now hear me? You can hear me? Okay, great. Just ask you to move to slide, the next one that says, this is me and this is you. Yeah. And no, the next slide, number 3. Yeah, if you could just take that full screen, do you think? Thank you. So, wow, third time lucky, I think. So hopefully no glitches now. So what I wanted to share with you was a path that that has taken me over the years, and it started in Pakistan very much. I was born in Karachi. I was brought up here. I went to the IBA. I started my first job here. My friends went abroad, a lot of them at the time that I finished my A-levels. I still stayed on. I was grumpy because I thought, you know, I've kind of lost out on opportunities. But anyway, still went to IBA, got an MBA and started work. Now, the reason for sharing that is just because very could possibly where you are today. And that is why I said this is me and this is you. So my work is, I started as a marketeer, and over the years, how I like to share myself in a quick introduction is that other things I have done, it is that, you know, I'm in, sorry, I can hear some interruption. So can you hear me now? Hello? Yes, okay. So what I think what you will probably at the end of the day is not specifics, which company you worked in, which brand you, literally what you ended up doing, what you will be remembered for. And that's why Rob is a creator, and each and every one of us is a legacy creator. Not today, maybe not tomorrow, but you will have your own legacy over the next 5, 10, 15 years. And I'll take you into I shared about what the 3 key steps of my journey were. So if you can just move to the next slide. Thank you. And I think the first starts with all of us dreaming, for anybody. And I quoted Dr. Allama Iqbal over here, and where he out basically raised to the level that even God will be pleased to do whatever you want. And I think that's a really oversimplification. But in each and every one of us, we have this onus to dream big, regardless of what our current circumstances are. So regardless of where you are sitting currently, what your challenges are, you must keep your eyes, that dream has to stay big. Because if you come down to the level where you know, you are dominated by your existing environment, then you are living in the existing circumstances you created. It's not going to happen. All my life, I dreamt of, and I from here, I wanted to make I'll tell you on the word, and I have a story about myself. And obviously, I was with my family, and then continued to study here. And then came this opportunity to make an impact because I was at the time of Style Awards. And it had started to bother me that, you know, it's a soap brand. At the end of the day, it's okay. We'll make great ads. You'll make people look beautiful. Is there something over and above? Will we make sure this brand lasts? Because it lasts on such superficial values. And at that time, there was somebody called Priha Altaf. She was running a set of programs with us, and together we came up with this creative idea of how to create the Oscars of Pakistan. And even to this day, I call it the Oscars of Pakistan when talking to colleagues elsewhere. But I still went a bit. So this was one big dream, which the company got behind. They were very skeptical. उन्होंने कहा पता नहीं होता है या नहीं होता है, but we're going to get behind it. And I started. I think there were days when myself and then later a trainee who was working with me, we would be in the office at 2 a.m. printing out invitation cards and, you know, samples. But then in one part of it, when we were identifying the categories, we were setting up the categories, came this opportunity, and we set up a category for scholarship for deserving students who wouldn't have normally got the chance, but maybe luck, you know, we kind of slid it in the back. So you had these prizes for the the most beautiful, the most stylish, this, that, and the other. But on the back of it, we slid in this bit about scholarships. And that to me was the starting point of my dream. And I just want to dial back because many years have passed, things change, but that was the first time that I realized the power of staying fixated on a dream. Because if you continue, if you are driven by your surroundings, because COVID, but if you stay focused and stay focused on that dream, regardless of our surroundings, that is from 99.9% of the rest of the world. How big your dream is, because that is one thing you have control over and you can own. Can we move to the next slide, please? Okay. The next step in my journey of learning over the years has been about learning. Exactly that. This is something that I talked about, which is that a man learns all his life and he dies the day he thinks he has learned everything. And it was an interesting conversation that I had. It's very easy. We are young and we are guys, you need to go back into slideshow mode, please. Yeah. So it's very easy and it's very tempting to think, we know everything, we can just jump into it. It just doesn't work that way. There are no shortcuts. If you do that, then what you are doing, you are creating systems and processes for failure and learning on the back of that failure on your own. So I would strongly encourage that instead of thinking you've got it all, you can make it own. Swallow your pride, eat humble pie, admit that maybe you'll and go and join a business that is already running. So you learn the ropes. Can a sailor become a captain on day one? No. Can you jump into the water and become an Olympic style swimmer? No. Everybody has to learn the ropes. So it's really important to build a massive monument will look at and admire long after you're gone. You have to learn you have to put foundations in place. They will only come अगर आपको तरीक़ेकार आता हो कि आपने कैसे काम करना है. There are, you don't feel you do, but nobody knows everything, and this will stay with you until the end of your life if you keep doing, inshallah. So really important to get and that's what I learned as well. There were places that I traveled to where I felt I had taken a step down. Doesn't matter. I have learned less, or I may already have being taught in the organization. What I did learn was the cultural aspect. What I did learn was how to manage and seniors who and make sure they didn't feel insecure, or make sure that they could also learn to respect the cultural aspects and the knowledge I brought. So there is learning around you, and that's how you just keep learning. Next slide. Create knows everything, and this will stay with you until the end of your life. And make sure they didn't feel insecure, or make sure that they create knows everything, and this will stay with you until. Okay. Right. And then there's talk about how do you actually create. So you've started dreaming, you've got a big dream, you started learning the ropes. How do you actually get creating? It comes down to 3 steps. It's about small steps. It's about you can't do this alone, and it's about persistence. So there are small steps that everything starts, as you know, with a small step. And if you look at something as simple as the tallest structure in the world that's ever built, or being every day, there will be something new. Aap us imarat ke paas se, you walk every day and you see nothing. And then one fine day, you suddenly realize it's there in the air. Did it actually just appear magically? No, it's been built up over a number of years. When you look at people you admire, careers you admire, everybody starts at the bottom, and it's about small steps. Now, what gets you through the small steps? Keep an eye on your dream. B, persistence. So you have to stay with that persistence and not give up along the way, of course. The second thing is collaboration. So, dunya bhar mein, it's about who you're working with. COVID has changed everything. I think one of the biggest learnings it has brought to the table is you cannot work alone. You have to work with partners if you are to grow bigger. So creation, which has been the last step, and that's been my area around the last several years for my own personal business, as well as the last legs of my corporate. I've realized I can't learn alone, and therefore I work with partners who are around the world. I go after them, I identify them, and I work with them. They also teach me, so they help me on my learning journey along the way. But together we create value for ultimately for customers and for clients where I would not have been able to do that on my own. So I'm going to move forward now to lessons. So I've learned about 4 lessons, and given that we just have a few minutes more, again, I'm going to run through this very quickly. If you can go to the next one. Yeah. Okay. Does anybody have an idea of who said this? Importance, urgency. So this was said by somebody whose name was General Dwight Eisenhower, very famous and helped win World War II. And that general, in that time of crisis, said these things. I have 2 kinds of problems: important versus urgent. And that's one of the things you learn. If you run after everything as if they are urgent, what does that do? It doesn't allow you to prioritize. You have to identify what is your fewer, bigger, better approach. What is going to give you the most value? You have 24 hours in a day. Out of that, you will be working 12 hours in a day. In that time per hour, where are you going to put your effort so that it gives you the biggest return, right? Are you going to put it behind an article that has to be written but for a friend, or proofread it, or are you going to put it behind something that's actually going to deliver results either in your existing university, or if you are working behind that? So importance versus urgency becomes all about prioritization. It is a big failure for a number of companies because many companies lose their way and feel just the importance of looking busy will make up for it. But you'll find if you go into this and again learn and read, you'll find that it's all about fewer, bigger, better, which is a mantra that I learned personally at Unilever and carried it through after that to all these. Innovation is a key area. When you start developing new products, have you thought about whether if you have a list of 10 products, they may all look very cool and very attractive, but are all 10 of them going to give you an equal return? No. So how will you prioritize importance versus urgency? So I hope that's clear. Okay, if you can go to the next, please. Right. Data plus empathy is equal to knowledge. So numbers are never going to do the game. Numbers change mindsets alone, because we are humans, and at the end of the day, emotions are what count. There's an excellent YouTube video, excuse me, and it's by somebody called Tali Sharo, and she says why it's difficult to influence people. And I would advise all of you to go and take a look at it. Until and unless you bring in emotion, and that means empathy, put yourself into the shoes of the person you are talking to, it's not going to shift their mindsets. Because supposing I want to buy a car and you show me 100 reasons, logical data-driven reasons not to buy that car. It doesn't matter, I want a car. But put yourself in my shoes and see what the real pain point is. Maybe I like that car because I'm dreaming that it'll help me fit in with other people. Maybe I'm buying that car because it's going to help me, I'm planning for a big family someday and it's going to accommodate all of them. There has to be a mix of data and empathy. That is what true knowledge is. Because if you only have data, you've got a story, but you're not it right. It's not going to resonate. If you have empathy, you don't have the facts. It's woo-woo, it's airy, and you can tell it right, but where are the facts? It's baseless, without a foundation. But when you have both of them, you can have the right story right, and that is true knowledge. That's how you leave rooms speechless and start to shift mindsets. You can go to the next slide, please. Network around the world. And I debated a lot on this slide. I wrote travel, I wrote network, and I think travel, again, it begins from our own religion, the importance of traveling, even if you have to go to China. But this is a quote by Steve Jobs towards the end of his life. He said that everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. Then how come people get ahead? Well, have you interacted with these people? Have you asked them? The most obvious way is to travel around the world, but forget travel. Have you read books? Do you read books from different parts of the world by different cultures about the same topic? Have you reached out on LinkedIn or to other university groups to connect with people who would and share, cross pollinate, exchange ideas? That is what networking is. And that's, I find that particularly lacking in being outside Pakistan. I see that particularly lacking. We think we are not good enough. I used to think Pakistanis are not good enough in a lot of areas. I promise you, we're one of the nations that's top of the world. If we could just get this victim mentality or get out of our own heads and start talking to people, you will understand how much smarter than so many people you are, how much better you can work together with them, how much you've got in here that other countries do not have. But you will not find that out until you start talking to people and networking around the world. So, okay. And then next slide, final one. And can you hear me now? All right, fantastic. Well, I will just beg leave because I guess it's unfortunate half of this conversation has been around, can you hear me now? It's become my favorite phrase. But I hope that even that very, very brief presentation was useful. I'm happy to connect at any point and take any questions if there are now or later on. But from me, I just thank everybody and for listening in.
Okay, so thank you so much, Ms. Naheed. I'm sorry if there's so many issues. We did not expect it. So, but we'll be ending Ms. Naheed's session here. And thank you so much for such an great insight. Hopefully, you talking about your own life and your experience was really great. It was quite motivational for everyone. And of course, great input for all the teams that will be presenting in the panels after the inauguration ceremony. And Naheed, there's a small token of appreciation for you on behalf of SMUC and SZABIST, which will be given to you. And I'll be starting off with the introduction of Mr. Yahya now. All right, so our next speaker is Mr. Yahya Ghaznavi. Mr. Yahya Ghaznavi is an exponential performance coach startup enthusiast, a commercial generalist, and turnaround specialist with 17 years proven track record of consistently delivering solid and reliable commercial results in blue chip companies such as Standard Chartered Bank, Pfizer Inc., the Nielsen Company, Takeda Pharmaceuticals, and Indefago. Mr. Ghaznavi specializes in setting up and rapidly scaling businesses by hacking growth in multiple countries, with the last 8 years in in-country leadership roles, and his last 5 years in regional leadership roles with P&L responsibility. He has traveled and worked within groups and projects in the Far East as well as the Middle East, and brings within the cultural and emotional intelligence to collaborate and unify concepts and teams in order to work together seamlessly. He brings big ideas to life while maintaining focus and strategic orientation and the ability to lead and inspire teams. So, Mr. Yahya, over to you now. You have 20-25 minutes. You can start with the session.
Brilliant. Thank you. So, as is the norm, I'm going to ask again, can everybody see me and can everybody hear me?
I can see you and I can hear you clearly.
Awesome. That's great. So thank you, Ayesha, for the brilliant introduction. Introducing myself, trying to impress you guys in a nutshell. I'm a high performance and mindset coach. I work with people across the world, investment bankers, athletes, actors, politicians, business owners, entrepreneurs, professionals, on helping them manage their mindset and the challenges and stresses they face in their lives so that they can make better financial decisions, so that they can show up as the people they want to be in their relationships, in their health, so on and so forth. That's one of my businesses. My second business is I'm the co-founder and CEO of Ux. Again, etc., etc. I have had my struggle with addiction to food, addiction to online.
So yeah, we cannot hear you. The screen is stuck, and I think it's some glitch again. It stopped at AKS when you were explaining regarding your food addiction and all, and your screen's frozen. Mr. Yahya will be joining us again shortly. Yes, just give us 2 minutes.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better. Okay, so you stopped at the addiction when you were talking about that, your food addiction, and
Thank you.
AKS. Okay, you can just start from there.
All right, so UX IQ stands for a reflection of human intelligence. UX stands for reflection. We create robotics that mimic human behavior. And all the other things I told you about myself are there to tell you that there's nothing special about me. I'm not gifted. I'm not like born like a special high performer, nothing like that. Today. So the first thing and the most ironic thing, as weird as it sounds, we're supposed to be motivating you, but let me be the first person, perhaps the only person, to share with you that motivation is a load of crap. Motivation is extrinsic. It doesn't come from within. Motivation is fleeting. You cannot control. Ayesha, can you guys hear me now? Brilliant. So, till where did you hear me? I was telling you guys that you need to stop relying on motivation. Motivation is a load of crap. Motivation is fleeting. Motivation is transitory. Motivation is uncontrollable every single day. It's a broken mechanism, so stop relying on motivation. What you should rely instead are habits. Habits are part of who you are. Every day you wake up in the morning, you go and brush your teeth. You do not think, you do not wait for motivation to come and strike you, so you go and brush your teeth. So just like you brush your teeth, you can train yourself to think. You All right, I seem to be back. The technical difficulties seem to continue, but we shall persevere. So, till where did you guys hear me last? All right, there's no chat. So essentially what I was talking about was letting your past define you. Each and every single one of us tends to look at our past and use it. Maybe you grew up poor. Maybe you grew up incapable. Maybe you grew up being told that you're not gifted, you're not. Think are who you think you are. So one of the most important things and one of the biggest struggles that you are going to face in your life is your identity. Who you define yourself as. Do you define yourself as a loser? Do you define yourself as a victim of trauma? Do you define yourself as a victim of not having money, of financial instability, so on and so forth? Or do you define yourself as somebody who's capable, more than capable, gifted, talented, etc., etc.? Which leads me to my next point, which is you have to learn to be your biggest cheerleader. You are not going to have people cheering you on. You are not going to have people bucking you on. If anything, in the future, you might have people who are trying to dissuade you, people who are trying to discourage you, people who are trying to get you off of what you want to do. Understand very critically and very importantly that these people are not bad people. These are people who are limited in their own ability and their capability. These are people whose insecurities are going through the roof. Everyone has insecurities, and they are projecting their insecurities onto you. It's not you, it's them. Cheer yourself on. Continue to cheer yourself on. You have to be your biggest cheerleader because you're not always going to have people cheering you on. So just like you stopped relying on external motivation, stop relying on external cheerleading. Do it yourself. Learn to do it yourself. Next point, learn to learn. Learn to learn every single day. And while you're learning to learn, also learn to evolve. A lot of people get stuck. 99% of people get stuck in their comfort zones the moment, and it's going to happen to you. The moment you get a job that you're happy with, you're able to buy the car, you're able to get the house, you're happy, you're going to slip into your comfort zone. Don't make that mistake. This is why people have midlife crises. This is why people flip out all of a sudden because they're like, is this it? Is this going to be my life for the rest of my life? Oh my God. And they paint themselves into a corner. So many people during the pandemic, so many professionals lost their jobs because they'd become comfortable working for the same company, doing the same function, doing the same thing over and over again until one fine day that company didn't need them and they were let go. So learn to learn. Make learning part of your daily routine and learn to evolve. Continue to grow. The next thing, learn to see life through other people's filters. This is important. Learn to not judge. First of all, start with yourself. Stop judging yourself. Stop beating yourself up because you're not smart enough, or you don't feel pretty enough, or you don't feel capable enough, or you don't think you have the money. Stop judging yourself. Zero judgment. Learn to look at yourself transparently, then learn to look at life transparently. Learn to look at other people transparently. Every single person is walking around with their insecurities literally stamped on their forehead. People in the first 3 to 5 minutes of conversation will let you know what they like, what they don't like, who they think they are, what they're sensitive about, etc., etc., etc. Learn to see them without judgment. Learn to stop creating a story about them in your head. No one's a jerk, or everyone's a jerk. Depends on how you see. The only way to navigate through life is to be able to see yourself transparently and to be able to see other people transparently. And the next step is to be able to see life the way they see life. Everybody sees life through their past, through what's happened to them. This is unfortunate, but it's a fact. If somebody's been their whole life, if somebody has experienced abandonment, if somebody has experienced pain, if somebody has experienced loss, that's the person they are. They identify themselves like that. And they are going through life predicting more abandonment, expecting more loss, and trying to take remedial measures. While it is unfortunate, it is also highly predictable. That is how people work. Learn to see them for who they are. Next thing, listen to your intuition, not your programming, not your conditioning. Each and every single one of you has been conditioned. If you're in your 20s by now, you have been massively conditioned. And if you're 50s right now, you've been conditioned for 50 years. The first people who programmed and conditioned you were your parents. Don't do this, or you're going to run out of money. Don't do that, or a stranger will kidnap you. Don't do that. Don't. Right? There's a ton of things, there's a ton of fears that have been indoctrinated inside of you that are now literally driving your life. You're not in control. Even if you think you are, you're not. You're a slave to your fears. You're a slave to your desires. You're a slave to your defense coping mechanisms. Most people who are chronically obese are also chronically stressed, and their defense mechanism is eating food because that's the only thing that makes them feel good. Similarly, there's people who are addicted to medication, people who are addicted to drugs, people addicted to shopping, people addicted to gaming. These are all addictions because they have so much pain in their life that they don't know what to do except slip into their comfort zone and enjoy the one thing they do that allows them to escape. It is important to know this because this is part of programming. Stop listening to fear. Stop listening to the story your mother told you. You better make a lot of money, otherwise you're going to be poor and you're going to end up like your uncle. You better not spend because you're all fears. These are not real. These are imaginary constructs. Now, each and every single one of you, I am sure, always has a gut feeling. You have gut feelings about people. You have gut feelings about circumstances. You have gut feelings about situations. You have gut feelings about business deals. And you students are going to have gut feelings as you go on. Listen to them. This is your intuition. This is your subconscious mind telling you, flat out telling you what's good for you and what's bad for you. If it doesn't make sense on paper, does not matter. I know you're students. You've been conditioned to think that the numbers have to make sense. I am someone who spent 20 years of his life looking at the numbers, looking at what the math said, looking at the spreadsheets and the Excel sheets. And I did it for so long that it started to decide what was good for me instead of me deciding what was good for me. Do not become a slave to what you've been taught. Do not become a slave. Stop relying on conditioning. Stop relying on what your thoughts are telling you. Listen to your gut. Listen to your intuition. Next thing, be very careful of who you think you are. What's going to happen to you in life is that certain things are going to happen. You're going to face challenges. You're going to have problems. You're going to have to overcome a lot of situations. Don't make the mistake of letting it define you. You are who you think you are. I cannot repeat this enough times. If you get abandoned, if you get an accident, if misfortune strikes you, if somebody betrays you, it does not make you anything. It has no bearing on you. Imagine yourself walking through life and you trip and you fall down. All you need to do is get up and get back on your way. If you fall down on the road, you don't redefine yourself as a person who cannot walk, or a person who keeps making mistakes, or a person who's broken and who doesn't deserve to walk and who will never walk from now on, and you start crawling. You don't do that. Yet, how many people in the world right now, when they go bankrupt, they make it hold a meaning to them. And they say, I'll never do business again. Let me just find a safe 9-to-5 job. How many people in the world go through divorce and let it change the way they are, and let it influence the way they are, and let it define who they are? And they go through life being bitter and miserable and not. Don't be that person. You control the meaning. You control the story in your head. Make sure you're in control of the story you're telling yourself, and because this will determine the outcomes of your life. If the story you tell yourself is that the world is a bad and a sad and a horrible and a scary place, the world will be a bad and a sad and a scary and a horrible place. If you tell yourself a story that the world is an amazing place waiting for me to step into it and live my life and make the money, have the relationships, do whatever I want, the world will turn into that. You literally get what you expect. You literally attract based on the energy you're giving out, and you repel, which brings me to another point. Do not get hung up on people, places, situations, jobs, and titles. Everything is coming into your life to teach you something, to equip you in a way. Some people will be good to you. They will teach you certain things. Some people will be bad to you. They will also teach you certain things. And then they're going to go away. Don't latch on to the good people. Don't turn it into something where you feel sad about. I've had countless mentors, and I've been a mentor and a coach to many people across the world. People come, people go. Situations come, situations go. Jobs come, jobs go. Stop letting it hold a crazy meaning for you. The only thing that needs to have meaning is the fact that you keep learning and evolving. Don't create a ridiculous relationship that you start feeling bad about when the relationship goes away. Don't do that. Next thing, understand that your thoughts and emotions need to be managed by you, and always manage your thoughts and emotions proactively instead of letting other people manage them for you. Don't make that mistake. Why am I saying this? Because most people go through life reacting to people, places, situations, and circumstances. If you're going to be anything in your life, if you're going to be in control, if you want to create the life you like, you go out of your way to convince that person that you are. You don't. This is how people are manipulated. This is how people press your buttons. All of us, myself included, we have insecurities. And the moment people click those buttons, we start responding and reacting. I spent 2.5 decades carrying a chip on my shoulder trying to prove people wrong. Every time somebody put me down, or every time somebody said I'm incapable, I went out of my way. I killed myself, and I achieved. And I was very good at achieving until I was diagnosed by one of my coaches as being a overachiever. He said, the problem with you is you keep achieving, but you never enjoy yourself. You're just going through life just achieving more money, more health, more wealth, more this, more that. When the hell are you going to enjoy yourself? Stop trying to prove something to people. This was a game changer to me. I'm sharing it with you today because each and every single one of you right now is reacting. You're not in control. You're reacting to what your parents said to you. You're reacting to what your significant other said to you. You're reacting to what friends said to you, so on and so forth. You do not need to. You don't need to prove people wrong. Which brings me to another point. You get to decide what you want to focus on. Do you want to focus on people saying things about you, people spreading rumors about you, people calling you out, or do you want to focus on continuing to do what you're passionate about? Learn the lesson. Get your focus back. Don't end up as a person who spends their entire life responding to people. Don't do that. Next thing, please do not listen to people to answer. Listen to understand. Both have an agenda in their head, trying to convince the other person of what their point means to them. That's not a conversation. That's two people driving two agendas. That's an argument. Don't do that. Listen to people to understand what they're saying and answer accordingly. Don't listen to people just waiting for them to keep quiet so that you can shove your opinion down their throat. That's not communication. Next point, stop getting hung up on the micro. Stop getting hung up on whether you can speak proficient English, whether your writing skills are good, whether this, it doesn't matter. use everything else. You use body language, you use tonality, you use actions, you use your eyes, you use your tone, you use everything at your disposal to get a message across. Communication does also not mean overcomplicating things. You're going to fall into one of these traps. You're going to want to impress people. You're going to want to push across a point where you're going to be, giving long, drawn-out answers. A master communicator, short, concise, crisp manner. This reflects their understanding. Next point, fix your trauma or risk it crippling the rest of your life. Whatever trauma you've had, if someone's left you, if there's been something bad, fix it right now. Otherwise, you're going to bleed for the rest of your life. That trauma will define you. That trauma will control you. That trauma will scare you. Next point, focus on your passion. The money will follow. Every single focus on what you enjoy doing. Focus on your passion. The money is guaranteed to follow. Next point, use the be, do, have model of achievement. Don't use the do, have, be. Most people use the do, have, be. You do something that you hate doing. You have something that you wanted. Then you allow yourself to be happy. That's a broken model. That's why people hate their lives. That's why people hate their jobs. You be happy now and you do what needs to be done to have what you wanted to have. Remember, start using the 80-20 rule right now. What is the 80-20 rule? You only focus on 20% of things that have 80% of impact in your life. 20% of people, 20% of emails, 20% of text messages, 20% of projects, 20% of the room in your house, 20% of everything. It is a golden rule that can be applied to life across the board. And the reason I'm telling you, and be very mindful of this, the reason I'm telling you is you're going to start running out of time. The only and I will not respond to every email I get, every WhatsApp I get, every text message, every call no. You have to be in control. You have to determine what you need to do. You don't need to answer to everyone. You don't need to respond. You don't need to text back. You don't need to write. No, you don't. It's a fake concept. Focus on 20% of what matters in your life. The last 2 points are intertwined. The second last is, please, all of you right now, not just the students, but everyone who's listening to me, please understand that you are your biggest. If you belong to the subcontinent, if you've been raised in a place like, like Pakistan, India, chances are you've been given by your parents a mindset which I refer to as I'm broke, I'm poor, I need to make money, scarce, I don't have resources, oh, poor me. That's the standard mindset people have across the board. Stop thinking about it. You need to understand that you are your biggest asset, not your money, not your house, not your clothes, not your investments. That add value to you as a person, because the future that we're stepping into is a very different future. It's a future where you will be evaluated based on who you are, not your background, not the degree you have, not the certifications you have. That's all just background fluff. It's just background noise. Forget about it. Focus on yourself. Improve yourself. And the last thing, boys and girls, the most important thing is to make sure you do not have and you do not carry a limiting belief. Your belief has to be that you deserve the best, that you are the best. I'm going to read out some beliefs. If any of these resonate with you, please get rid of it. I'm not good enough. I'm not tall enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm going to read out the whole thing. I'm not good enough to make money. I'm not good enough to start my own business. I better get a 9 to 5. I'm not pretty enough to get married. Rich enough to do what I want to do. I'm not smart enough to understand difficult concepts, so I better think and I better act, like a dumb person. These are crippling, limiting beliefs that people have. I work with people across the world. My youngest client is 25 years old. My oldest is 75. Everyone has crippling beliefs. Don't get hung up on where the belief came from. Focus on the fact that I told you, you are who you think you are. If you have a crippling belief about yourself, trust me, it's showing up in your life. It's you're stupid or if you're incapable, trust me, you're acting like a stupid, incapable person. You're taking the actions of that person. You're thinking like that person. You're emotionally feeling like a person like that, confused, overwhelmed. If you think you're ugly, you're acting like an ugly person. If you think you're desperate, you're acting like, fix your belief. And that's it. If anybody has any questions, please, you're free to ask me. You're free to contact me. I'm done with my session.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Yahya. That was very inspiring and that was brilliant. And I loved it. I'm sure others did too. There were many appreciations in the comment section. It was a great, I wouldn't say it was motivational. I think it was brilliant. And I think we'll be concluding here. We'll be concluding the ceremony here. And Mr. Yahya, we have a tiny gift of appreciation for you from on behalf of SZABIST and of course SMUC. It will be delivered to your office and at your convenience. And I think this broadcast is coming to an end. I would like to thank both of the speakers that were here. Ms. Ayesha, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who was here watching. And all students and teams are requested to join the panels. They will be given their links by their CRs on their WhatsApp groups. And good luck to each and every one of you. Do well. And thank you so much for everything again. Moderator will start the sessions now. Ms. Ayesha, do you have anything to say?
Yes, please. Everybody, I think Mr. Yahya just wants to, I asked him to switch on his camera so we can say last bye-bye. And yes, that would be fine, Ayesha. Thank you so much, Yahya. We really appreciate your being here. And alhamdulillah, it was a brilliant, highly motivational session. I wish I was on the teams to go ahead and use all that motivation and channel it positively. And we always, been lucky to have you in our events, and we please continue to see you in more events ahead. Thank you so much for your time, sir. And if you could kindly share on the public.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm seeing a lot of comments about people asking how they can contact me. Tell them to visit www.coachyahya.com.
Could you
and
put
Instagram,
that on?
I'm all over the place.
Sir, could you please put that on the comments?
Thank you, boys and girls. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ayesha. Thank you, both the Ayeshas.
Share it on the pages as well. His links.
Yeah, cool.
Yes.
Okay. Your Instagram page and your Facebook page. I'll share both.
Thank you. Okay, Ayesha, over to you, Ayesha.
I think, Miss, we'll be starting with the paneling sessions now. The judges have now joined. I think CR should
we'll end the broadcast.
Yes,
you can end the broadcast.
Yes, we're ending the broadcast here. Thank you so much, everyone. Once again, good luck, and your sessions start at 4:15, and your moderators will contact you. Thank you. Allah Hafiz. Bye bye.